Groom Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Groom Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan, and today we're talking about the spooky, macabre world of kind of underground radio stations, cults that are on the airwaves, dead preachers that are on the airwaves, number stations, and such. Now, I want to thank you if you are a subscriber to this channel and have stuck around this long. It's been about 11 months since we uploaded a podcast. Before it was me and my buddy Jared, but from here on out, it's just going to be me. Jared joined the Air Force, so wishing him the best of luck with his journey. Hope everything with that goes well for him. He deserves it. But anyway, back to the podcast. Thank you for sticking around. If you want more content like this, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We're a very small channel, just starting off almost. It's almost been a year, but I mean, we only have 2 videos, really, 2 podcasts. So if you want this podcast to grow and to help us do more content, help me do more content like this, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below something you think I could cover good. So, starting off, I was driving one day, and I decided to put on some AM radio, and essentially, I came across this weird station I'd never heard before. This crazy man yelling and screaming about the end of the world, right? About God. And this station is based in Canonsburg, Pennsylvania. It's called WWCS. It's 5:40 a.m. in my local area. And come to find out that this preacher is a guy named Brother Stare. You could look him up. This guy was not a good guy. And his ministry was not very much of a ministry at all. It was a lot like a cult. And just like Jonestown and Heaven's Gate, they have a compound. And in this compound, people live and they are treated terribly. Now, the creepy thing about all of this is that Brother Stare is on many stations still. He died almost 4 years ago. Well, a little over 4 years ago. Sorry, I apologize. And his voice is still being heard around the world on many stations. And the Overcomer Ministry has a lot of money to spend, I take it, they got from donations from people who just didn't know any better. And they're still being played. And the thing is, Brother Stare is not a very good guy. If I pull up the Wikipedia page of Brother Stare here, I could tell you a little bit about him. So, Brother Stare, right, died in 2021. He was born 1933. His ministry is called the Overcomer Ministry. Should be called the Overcomer Cult, if you ask me. That's just me, though. But I think you'll agree with me if you don't know about this, and I'm telling you about this now. So, he was arrested in Walterboro, May 16, 2002, on 2 counts of criminal sexual conduct in the 2nd degree with 2 women. Associated Brother Stare alleged that he coerced them by enforcing his religious/personal beliefs on them. In 2004, Stare pleaded guilty to the charge of assault and battery and was sentenced to time served, a total of 77 days in custody. Later, it says he was arrested on December 18, 2017, on 8 counts, which include 3 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct and single counts of assault with the intent to commit criminal sexual conduct, kidnapping, and secondary assault, first-degree burglary, and third-degree criminal sexual conduct with a minor. And then, I guess, another way the authorities found this and arrested him is because, I guess, a YouTube video surfaced of him touching a 12-year-old, which is sickening. This guy was messed up. He was a false prophet because none of his prophecies came true. He abused his position of power and his ministry to take people at their worst and to abuse them. Not very Christian. if you ask me. Not very good. Now, I don't know if the website that owns WWCS knows just what they are, broadcasting. Because the way this station works, I take it from what I've found, is that essentially, you pay for a certain amount of airtime. And I can give you the rates here. And just by reading off the rates, you could figure out that the Overcomer cult has a lot of money to spend. And it's a shame that people donated. They probably didn't know what they were donating to. Here's an example. So for 57 minutes of airtime on Saturdays and Sundays, it's $300. Monday through Friday, it's $300. 28 minutes, $225, and $185. And then 15, $175, and then $150. And I tell you, they are on the air all day, every day, throughout the night, throughout the day. It doesn't stop. It's the same old 10, 20, 30-year-old sermons from that crazy, twisted village down there. I hope you agree with me that the Overcomer cult should be taken off the air. They shouldn't be able to have airtime, especially considering that there is proof and whatnot to show that Stair was not a good guy, right? So, do you have any information on how to get this guy off the air, this dead preacher? Not very much of a preacher. This dead cult leader, rather. We should be able to get him off the air because he was terrible. And he hurt too many people. So, moving on to our second topic of this podcast. So, number stations, right? Number stations. Number stations, were most prevalent during the Cold War. Different countries sending information back, coded information they didn't want each other to hear. They had it in Morse code. They had it at different frequencies. Most frequencies they broadcasted on was high frequency bands in the shortwave bands. Some examples of number stations is, for example, the Lincolnshire Poacher. Sure, you've heard this before. Here's what it sounds like. Right, there's one example. Here's another example. I'm taking this from the Wikipedia page. Kudos to whoever uploaded these. Here's another one. I guess it's the Gong number station in the GDR. Right, here's a Cuban number station.
5, 6, 2, 8, 4, 6, 6, 1, 4, 4, 5, 5, 8, 6, 1, 4, 2, 3, 4, 6, 6, 2, 8, 0.
Right, there's some more examples. Now, apparently these have been in use since World War I. A lot of them went out, in the 90s after the Cold War. And who knows what some of these messages were meant for. Who knows if they reached the proper people. Some of these messages have been decoded, but some of them you really don't know. And an interesting thing is that some of these number stations people said to have heard somebody walking in or walking out of a room and then saying the numbers or whatever message it is, right? And then hearing them walk away. So it could have been live, which is really interesting. You would have had to catch it at the right time in the right place to hear it. So it had to have been a big operation, I suspect. If you were involved, if a spy or something, who knows? I take that a lot of these stations were never meant to be heard because they were secretive, They were very, I'm sure, important military, messages and whatnot. So it's really interesting that people have been able to find these and talk about these. I think it's fascinating because who knows, Just like kind of like the whole Russian cosmonaut thing from way back in the 60s. Like the messages that apparently, you could hear of them coming in back into orbit. Or like Leica, the dog that they sent up, that's, pretty sad. Just the whole Cold War kind of secret intelligence thing has always been very fascinating to me. Just different stuff like that, the space program, and pretty much, pushing to new limits with, both the U.S. and the USSR, and that, like, so much technology was able to advance because of that kind of fight, that kind of push to be better, and it's almost feels surreal. I mean, the world's in a pretty chaotic state right now, so maybe it doesn't feel so surreal to think that there was a time like that, but at times it does feel quite strange. Speaking of space program in the Soviet Union, it ran from 1951 to 1991. And, well, some people, say that, it kind of was different. There's somebody, before Yuri Gagarin who went into space in 1961. It could have been somebody else. They say that a female cosmonaut maybe. It's all quite interesting, Here's that recording I just mentioned of the female cosmonaut. Right. Very unsettling. Very, very spooky. So with all that, I'm going to end the podcast right about here. Don't want to drag it on for too long. Only talking about really two topics, the number of stations and, mysterious radio signals and this and that are unidentified or whatnot. Cults on the radio and whatnot. If you ever hear anything on the radio, you ever had any experiences with creepy signals or anything like that, just comment down below and help me continue to do this if you like this kind of content. Sorry I couldn't make this longer. I just wanted to get this out there, and I wanted to start uploading on this channel again because, you guys seemed to like it before. So, yeah, now that it's just me, help me do some more podcasts and suggest some stuff that you'd like, and comment down below if you've ever heard any random or weird broadcasts. With that, have a blessed day and stay safe out there. Groom Podcast heading out.